I want to talk about confidence because confidence in the recruiting process is actually a really big deal. And there are a lot of kids who really struggle with confidence when they're at showcases and camps or when they're sending emails to college coaches. And I get it. They're probably seeing other kids around them get interest in offers and they're not getting anything and they don't understand why. And that's really frustrating and very scary to them. And there's really two main factors or components when we talk about confidence that come into play. The first one is momentum, okay? Most families don't have a lot of momentum in the process. Like going from 0 to 1 is significantly harder than going from 1 to 5 or 5 to 10, right? Getting that first bit of interest, taking that first step where it feels like you have some movement, that's the hardest part of the process. And once you kind of grab a little bit of momentum, then you feel more motivated to continue to do the actions that got you the momentum in the first place, right? If you send 10 emails and you get a response, you are significantly more likely to go send 10 more because you believe that you will get at least one more response from doing that. You are rewarded for the actions that you took. It gets really hard though when you send 10 emails and you get 0 responses and you go, yikes, if I go send another 10 emails, am I going to get another Zippo? Am I going to go get another 0 responses? And that makes it very hard. And so what ends up happening is that kids will get no interest, right? They're not talking to any schools, nothing. So then you end up putting them in a showcase or a camp environment. I'm saying you as the parent right now, you put them in a showcase or a camp environment, and now all of a sudden that kid goes in with very little confidence because they don't have any external validation that they are good enough to do this thing that they really want to do. All they want to hear is from someone that they trust, that they know that they are good enough and that they can do this. And it's helpful to get that from a coach, it's helpful to get that from a parent, but it's more helpful and it's more beneficial if that comes from someone else. And that someone else is typically a college coach. That's who they want to hear it from. And they want to hear it from as many of those people as they can. So when they step into that showcase or camp and they don't have any interest whatsoever, they believe in their mind that their entire recruiting process is determined by that one event. And so they put an incredible amount of pressure on themselves and the burden is huge, and they try so hard in that event that it actually probably makes their performance worse. Like maybe you've experienced this, that your kid is really, really good when they're loose and they're relaxed and they're just playing how they know they can, but then they step into a high pressure environment like that, a high stakes environment, and all of a sudden they crap the bed, they don't really play that well. A lot of that is confidence driven, right? It's confidence driven. Some of it is experiential, right? If the more that you're put in environments like that, the better you're likely to perform. But a lot of it is confidence. So what ends up happening is they don't have any interest. Then they go to a showcase or a camp. They don't play well because they felt an incredible amount of pressure. And then they come out of that and they don't have any video from that camp. They have nothing to show for it. They can't go add new video because they didn't really play that well. And they're like, yikes, all right, well, I can't go make more videos. They can't really send emails. They don't feel like they can. They're like, man, I was not worthy. What I did at that event is not worthy to play college sports. So then they're like, man, maybe I shouldn't reach out to college coaches at this point. So now they're not doing the very things that they have to do to get interest in the first place. So what happens is they stop making videos, they stop sending emails, they stop posting on Twitter, they are reluctant to go to showcases and camps and recruiting events, and then you're gonna continue to get little to no interest because you're not doing the things that you need to do to get interest. And then the cycle starts again where they're not getting any interest from college coaches. You end up going to more showcases and you just continue that process over and over again. And you have to understand that for a high school athlete, their entire life is centered around social acceptance, right? In high school, all the kids, it's like, are they the popular kid? And maybe your kid is like, no, I don't care about being the popular kid. But I promise you, they still care about acceptance to some degree, right? Whatever that is important to them. It may not be popularity, but there is something else in their life that they absolutely care about being known for. And they will do anything. As a high schooler, as a teenager, they will do anything to avoid rejection. And the recruiting process is like 95% rejection, right? You're gonna get rejected by almost every school out there probably, but then there will be a handful that actually think your kid's amazing, want your kid, and will give you offers, right? But for a kid, Engaging in activities that are absolutely going to lead to rejection is an incredibly difficult thing, and it goes against everything in their world. It's like, I know that it's really important to you that you are accepted by everyone and that you're really well liked and that you're getting momentum, but now I want you to go do this thing that requires just dealing with rejection like an absolute pro. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of parents who cannot deal with rejection, and now we're asking that of 15 and 16-year-olds. And so we don't get any momentum in this process, and it just gets harder and harder to start that process. When you get the ball rolling, it gets a little bit easier. It's like, oh, okay, we got a couple schools interested. Now we can maybe turn that 1 or 2 into 3 or 4. And then the more that happens, the more confident they are. The better they play in showcases and camps, the more confident they take phone calls, right, or visits with college coaches. Everything just seems to kind of come together. So confidence, anyone that says otherwise is crazy. Confidence is a critical piece in college recruiting, and it's not talked about enough. And the second piece of this is, and what leads to confidence, is having a game plan, okay? Almost every family that I talk to doesn't have a game plan. They're doing things that everyone has told them to do. Like, hey, you're supposed to go to showcases and camps. So they go. They make videos because they've been told to do that. They send emails, they post on Twitter, right? They do all the things that people have told them to do. But it's just one-off tactics. They're not an actual system, right? And what happens is when you don't know, or you're at least not planning on where that interest is going to come from, then it feels like you are just shooting stuff into the dark. It's like, here goes another email into the black hole. Here goes another post on Twitter that's not gonna see my 300 followers. And it just feels like every action that you take is not going to produce some sort of return on investment for you. We're gonna go to this showcase and camp, but I'm not really expecting much. We're gonna send these emails, but I'm not really expecting much. But what happens is, when you actually have a game plan, even if it's a bad game plan, a bad strategy, you can make micro adjustments to that plan that will improve the process over time. So if you're just shooting one-off tactics, it's very difficult to make any real progress because it's hard to measure success on individual tactics like that. It's really hard to make micro adjustments. But when you have an actual plan that you are following, then it becomes easy to say, great, how do we improve this plan by 5%? How do we improve it by 2%? And then all of a sudden, your 2 out of 10 email to college coaches becomes a 4 out of 10 email to college coaches. And now you get a response. You're like, ooh, okay, that got better. And then you turn the 4 into like a 7, right? And then a 7 to an 8, and an 8 to an 8.5. And it gets harder as you go up the scale. But over time, incrementally, you are improving every part of your process. But it's incredibly hard to do that if, 1, you don't have an actual game plan, like a foundation that you are building upon. And 2, if you're not measuring those things, if you're not actually saying what is working and what's not working. And so having a game plan is like a critical piece of confidence. One of the things that happens when a family starts working with us, the first thing that we do is we get on a one-on-one strategy call and say, great, what are we trying to accomplish and how are we going to get there, right? And so we put together this strategy specifically for the family. And here's the funny thing. We haven't gotten any interest yet, right? The call just happened. We haven't done anything yet. And yet, a family feels so relieved, so calmed after that call simply because they have an actual plan, right? The plan hasn't even worked yet. We haven't even put the plan into action, but they feel better because they have a game plan. They're like, okay, this is what we're gonna try. We're gonna actually try this, but here's the thing about every plan. You're gonna get punched in the face. You're gonna get punched in the face. It's a famous quote, right? Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. So that's going to happen in college recruiting. But the thing is that when you have that foundation and then you get punched in the face, it's so much easier to bounce back from it because you can make all of those micro adjustments, those incremental adjustments over time. And now it's like, okay, so we sent 20 emails and we didn't get a response. So let's change something. What can we improve about this? What can we improve about the video? What can we improve about the email? Can we improve who we're sending the email to, right? There's lots of different things that we can do there. And now we're in the arena. Like we're in the game, we're playing the game. But if you're not playing the game and you're not in the arena, then it's very difficult to make any progress. And so that game plan, like having an idea of where you are heading, and it may change. You may start heading in this direction and you slightly have to make a change, but you're still heading in the similar direction because you know where you're going. And now, instead of taking route A to get there, you might take route B. But you never would have found route B if you didn't know the direction that you were heading in the first place. And so these are the things that lead to confidence for athletes. And if you feel like your kid doesn't have any confidence because you don't have any momentum, they're seeing kids around them get other, interests and offers, and they're like, man, why is that happening for them, but it's not happening for me? And let's not kid. If you're the parent of a high school athlete, you also struggle with confidence. You also have to deal with confidence. You're like, man, maybe I have parent glasses on, and I think that they're really good, but maybe they're not as good as I thought that they were. And it becomes really difficult to be unbiased. And as a parent, that's also really, really hard, because when your kid wants something incredibly badly and you don't know how to get it for them, that sucks and that's hard. And so even as a parent, confidence comes into all of this, right? And so confidence plays this huge role in the recruiting process. I don't think enough people talk about it, but nonetheless, keep pushing, keep grinding. If you want a one-on-one strategy and you want to explore what it looks like to work with us, you can book a call with us. I'll put the link down below. If not, I'll see you guys next time.